wanting showing the gallery.
Oh, okay.
So anyway.
Is this, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen fine.
Okay. All right, you want me to get started?
Well, yeah, welcome everybody to our 2025 Wellness Adventures presentation. So Liane I'm assuming this is going more to my people than to Liane's people. So Liane, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Liane Olin from Liane Olin Coaching, and I host adventure retreats, outdoor nature immersion experiences, and wellness workshops. Really, it's a way to drop into who you really are inside and reconnect to the person you want to be. So this presentation is all about the active adventures I'll be hosting in 2025, and very excited to share those details with you. And I'm partnering again with Lisa Halub on one of those retreats and possibly more this year. Actually, 2 retreats this year. Yeah, Zion and your retreat. So, all right, I'm going to get started. You are looking at 3 of my biggest retreats that I host, well, annually at this point. This first picture is of Big Bear, and it'll be my 4th year doing Big Bear. And the middle picture is Sequoia National Park, and it'll be the first year heading out to Sequoia. We'll do Kings Canyon also. And then the last picture there on the right is Zion National Park. And then there's a surprise adventure at the end that I'll talk about. So the places that we will go this year is Big Bear. And in Big Bear, I'm going to actually do 2 different adventures. The first one is a hiking adventure, so it's an outdoor excursion. Now, this is not hardcore hiking at all. This is very casual, 3 to 5 miles a day. There'll be sightseeing along the way, and it's always a hike at your pace. It's never a push, climb up the mountain type of event. This event, the way the itinerary works when we're in Big Bear is we have breakfast in the morning at the lodge where we're staying, which is a rented cabin. And then we will do a hike in the morning, have lunch in town, and then come back. Anyway, I'll jump into all those details as we go through it. But then immediately following that first Big Bear event is a Big Bear nature immersion excursion, or immersion like forest bathing. And that is June 29th through July 2nd. And then the third trip is Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park, where we will be staying at a historic lodge built in 1923 inside Kings Canyon Village, right next to the visitor center. And then the last planned excursion at this point is Zion in October from the 20th through the 26th. So we're going to jump into the details of Big Bear first. We'll go in the order at which the dates are. So these are the first ones coming up. So I'm going to hit those. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to jump in here just for the benefit of Lisa and Jane, well, and anybody who watches the recording, which is that there is actually a trip prior to this, and that's my trip, which I'll be talking about at the end. So disregarding the dates.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, Lisa's event is May 5th through 9th. So it actually is first chronologically. All right, well, we'll jump into Big Bear. And for those on the call, if you guys have any questions, please interrupt, raise your hand. I don't want this to be a one-way dialogue. I'd very much like to answer any questions you have that come up. So the pictures that you're seeing in front of you are actual pictures that I've taken when we were in Big Bear over the last couple of years. This picture, a group picture at the bottom, was our most recent retreat. And then we also do sneak out to another lake that is very near Big Bear, and that's the picture that you see in that bottom right-hand corner. So the hiking adventure is 5 days and 4 nights, June 23rd through the 27th. In order to participate in the hike, you'll want to be able to hike up to 5 miles. Now I say that cautiously, meaning the first year I did this, I had 2 women with me who really weren't hikers at all, and they were able to do the 5-mile hike. And that's because we take our time and we go at a reasonable pace. So there is a hike that I am planning this year that's about 4.5 miles. And that's the biggest hike of the entire trip. Most of them are 3 miles, or we go as far as the group wants and then we turn around. So you'll also need to be able to carry a backpack because you'll have water and hiking supplies in your back. You have to have a sense of adventure and a willingness to enjoy the outdoors and teamwork, because there is a lot of group dynamics. We're all staying in the house together. So we have shared space that we want to deal with. But at this particular adventure, everybody gets their own bedroom and a private bathroom. So lots of private, or the opportunities to be private and away from the group if you're needing that too. The second event, which is the following days, June 29th through July 2nd, is the forest bathing or nature immersion experience. That is a 4-day, 3-night retreat, or excuse me, adventure, and is very different than the hiking adventure. And I say that because these are more nature walks, sitting and observing the surroundings that you're in, listening to what you see. So while you do have to have the ability to navigate uneven surfaces, go for a walk in the woods, you need to be able to climb stairs, step on and off a boat, but you don't need to be a hiker. You're not going to need to carry a backpack or anything like that. Definitely going to want to enjoy the outdoors. This is forest bathing, so you're going to be outside a lot. Desire to reconnect with nature, very important. And this is a different trip because unlike the hiking trip, this is a trip where you're going to slow down. You're going to kind of look inward and seek personal growth, connect to nature to figure out what it is that you really need in your life to live the life you want. So curious and open-minded will help, especially embrace the experiences that we'll all do together as a group. So here's just some, again, pictures of Big Bear that we've done in the past years. This particular trail here on the left, we're going to do that again this year. It's well shaded, as you can tell, and sometimes in June it gets warm now in Big Bear, so that's a pleasant hike to do for sure. The middle picture, that's me standing underneath a big tree at the top of Snow Summit. We took the ski lift up to the top, and we did a hike around the top. We're going to be going to the same destination in both trips, just with the nature immersion. We won't be hiking. We'll just be doing a nature walk. And on these excursions, I always include fun little things. So there'll be a boat ride. Last year, we did a pirate ship. So that's the pictures that you're seeing. And then there's a picture of us on the chairlift heading up to the top of Snow Summit for our hike. Both of these events include, again, it's a cabin that I've rented. You'll get your own private room and your own private bathroom. Transportation is provided, included in the price for up to the first 4 people who reserve their spots. You get daily guided hikes and nature immersion experiences depending on the outdoor excursion that you select. And I'm going to go back to transportation. Transportation is included from the lodge to all of the places that we go in and around Big Bear. So you won't have to drive your own car if you choose to drive up the mountain yourself. You can absolutely drive your own car, or you can just ride with me. So again, you'll get daily guided hikes or nature immersion experiences. We'll take the sky chair up to the top of Snow Summit. We'll go on a boat tour. Breakfast at the lodge is included every day. It also is 2 appetizers and 2 desserts. We generally go out for lunch after the nature excursion or the hike, and then we'll come back to the house, have some downtime before we head out for our evening at festivities. And absolutely, you will be supported and guided along the way. You're never going to be left to figure out things alone. This is a small group event. Maximum this year will be 8 people. I think I had 9 last year, so I'm making it a little smaller. But it's so much fun. Let's see. So the Big Bear Hiking Adventures, 5 days, 4 nights, June 23rd to the 27th. You're going to hike a portion of the Pacific Crest Trail, and that's when we're going to go up to see the Eye of the God, which is a sacred space identified by the Native Americans who originally occupied that land. And then we're going to do an interpretive hike, as well as a bunch of other hikes. My hikes will change based on the people who sign up for the event. So I absolutely tailor this to the skills of the group that are going with me. The other things I've already mentioned, the sky chair, the boat tour. We will go to the village for some time shopping or listening to live music. Bluff Lake Reserve, that's the place I mentioned. It's a lake very close to Big Bear. We'll pop out there for a day, and we'll hit the visitor center and the Discovery Center while we're there. The nature immersion experience is a little shorter. It's 4 days and 3 nights, June 27th through July 2nd. In this experience, you'll get daily nature immersion experiences, things like forest walks, nature meditations, sensory exploration. So you're really going to sit with, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? How does it feel? You'll have opportunities to journal, do art. I have some fun, and you don't need to be an artist, I promise. I'm not an artist. This is just art. Think of art in the outdoors, very creative, and nothing you have to take home, I promise. Anyway, and we do hug a tree, and there's a reason for it. It actually smells like maple syrup, so it's kind of fun to get or to hug it and actually take in the scent of the tree. It's amazing. So I'll offer guided meditations and visualizations daily, likely at the cabin for sure, but also out in the woods. And then we'll go to the sky chair, we'll walk at the top, and then we'll do a boat tour. I already mentioned the Lake Reserve and the Visitor Center and Discovery Center. So this is the location that I've rented. It's just under 3,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. So it looks quite luxurious. I have not stayed here at this particular location. It also has an amazing deck on the backyard. This is important because it packs to the National Forest. It is protected, it is quiet, it is peaceful. So we'll do stuff out here on the deck. We'll do some morning stretching, probably have some guided meditations out here if the weather cooperates and is cool enough. So I'm really planning to take full advantage of everything the place has to offer us. So if you're looking to join, this is the hiking outdoor adventure, June 23rd through the 27th. Again, remember, this is 5 days and 4 nights. There's a room on the first floor with a queen bed and a private bathroom, and that's $1,550. On the second floor, there's a room with a king bed and attached bath for $1,750. Room number 3 is a queen and double bed. So there's 2 beds in this room with an attached bath for $1,650. And the 4th room is a queen with an attached bath for $1,550. All of these prices include everything we've talked about. You're with me all day long, so you'll get guided adventure and hiking and sightseeing. It includes the boat ride, the chair up to the mountain. It includes going out to that other lake. Every workshop, every breakfast. It also includes, I don't think it's on this slideshow, two appetizers and 2 desserts that we'll have at the house together. So any questions about the hike lodge experience before I jump into the next? I'm seeing a head shake no, but okay. This is the nature immersion or the forest bathing experience. Again, this is a little shorter, so it's only 4 days and 3 nights. Same location, same lodge. So again, the first floor has a queen with a private, the second has a king, and then 2 rooms with queens. One has a double bed also. And those rooms range from $1,550 to $1,350, depending on which one you select. And again, this is based on single occupancy. All right, I jumped to the next slide, but does anybody have any questions about Big Bear at all? No. Okay. All right, we're going to jump to the next one. Best of Sequoia and Kings Canyon. And I see Elise, I didn't realize that was you on the call. So very excited to see you today and happy that you're on the call. So this next one is Sequoia and Kings Canyon. So this is new, this is super popular, and this is definitely going to sell out. And I'm telling you guys that, not to scare you, but to tell you that if there is so much demand for Sequoia and Kings Canyon, I may actually rent another cabin inside the park, which is close to the cabin I've already rented. So don't be discouraged if you tell me you're interested and I tell you the room's already gone, because several people have expressed interest already. So anyway, here we go. Best of Sequoia and Kings Canyon. This trip is September 8th through the 12th. We are going to stay in a historic cabin inside Kings Canyon Park in the town of Wilsonia. The cabin was actually built in 1923. Wilsonia, the town, the historic town, was established in 1918. So really cool old place. Kings Canyon is a full week, 5 days, 4 nights, September 8th through the 12th. So that's a Monday through Friday. To do this hike, oh, that's funny. I put 5 miles. Let me clarify this. There is no hike in Kings Canyon that is more than 3 miles. I actually don't think there's a hike more than 2.5 miles in Kings Canyon or Sequoia. The 5 miles comes in to play because you're going to be getting in and out of the van, going out to lookout points all day long. So your total steps could hit 5 miles just doing that, but you're certainly not going to be on a trail the entire 5 miles, I promise. But this trip is all day, which means you're going to leave the cabin in the morning and you're going to be gone all day long. You'll have lunch out, like a sack lunch out in the woods somewhere, and then we will not be getting back until probably 5 o'clock. So you do want to have the stamina to be up and about all day, but you don't need to be able to hike 5 miles at all. It's not at all. I do want you to be able to carry a backpack because, like I said, you will have your lunch and I want you to have water and stuff with you. It is the Sierras, so you need to be able to have a raincoat. Weather could change. So you do need to be able to carry something with you. Definitely a sense of adventure. This is, there are bears and stuff and are in and around us. These are black bears, not grizzlies, so I'm not really scared of them, but you definitely need to have a sense of adventure because you're going to be outside a lot. Teamwork, absolutely, because this is not a retreat. It is active adventure. There's going to be lots of group dynamics and the cabin is small. So we're going to be in a lot in shared spaces. So teamwork is a must, but it's going to be so fun, I promise. Included in Kings Canyon and Sequoia, again, transportation up to 5 people is all I can take in the van. So if we end up getting more people than that, other people will need to drive. You'll get your daily hikes, you'll get breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the cabin. And here's why. I just want to put a little asterisk here. I cannot guarantee, and I really don't think we will even have the opportunity to have any of the meals or mini meals at any of the lodges or places around either of those parks. Most of them stop serving meals before we're even back. Like between 4:30 and 5:30, places seem to close down. If they're open later than that and we decide we want to dine out, absolutely, it's an option. But I'm going to have enough food and everything in the cabin that we're self-sustained, that we don't need to rely on something being open to take care of us. Also at the park is a place called Boyden Caverns, and it's a cave that you go into, and it has all these crystals, and it's amazing. So your trip includes tours of the cavern. That again is not anything physical. You just do need to be able to go up and down stairs. You have to be comfortable in very tight places because people with claustrophobia may not want to do that particular tour, but it will be shared. It will be part of our trip. And again, you're going to need to be good with private and shared spaces. We have 2 private rooms and then 1 shared room with 2 twin beds. And all of the bathrooms in Kings Canyon are shared. There are only 2 bathrooms. And the cabin, and actually that's a lot, most of the cabins only have 1 bathroom. So I was excited to get 2 full bathrooms. There's a bathtub downstairs and a shower upstairs. So what do you need to go to Sequoia, Kings Canyon? Or what you need to know is that it's historic, so it's old. We are inside the national park, and with the staffing crisis and the budget cuts that are currently being made, I'm not sure what services will be available. In this particular park, I'm not worried about it because we don't need a shuttle and we don't need the restaurants. We'll have everything on our own. In some other parks, that raises a much bigger issue. But the thing you do need to know in these canyons is that our daily drive will probably be over an hour each way because we're going to be heading out to different parts of the park and stopping all the time along the way. Jump out, look at the waterfall, jump out, look at the overview. There's just so much to see. So there is a lot of driving that's required. It's not fast driving. It's a windy 2-lane road. So we're probably going 20, 30 miles an hour, which also explains why it does take so long. Again, this isn't a retreat. It's an outdoor adventure. So I am going to need assistance in the kitchen and with getting things done around the cabin. So everybody will need to help pitch in so we can get it all done. Like I said, there's 2 shared bathrooms and a very steep staircase to go. It's to go to the 2nd floor. It's narrow. There is a handrail, which you'll want to use, but they did stress that in the write-up. I am actually going to be at this park in this exact cabin in June, so I'll have a lot more information before we head out as a group in September. So these are just some of the beautiful trees that you get to see when you're there. This is Boyden Cavern that we're going to go into. To do Kings Canyon and Sequoia, you need to be physically fit. I think I already hit this slide. Anyway, up to 5 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'm like, I thought I already did that one. Okay, well, these are more, this is actually the first trail that we'll hit when we come inside the park. We're going to walk around these stumps and have a picnic lunch likely in this park. And there's the General Sherman tree. And this is Morrow Rock. So you're going to climb these stairs. It's only about a 1/4 of a mile up to the very top of this mountain. And then you have views of everything. And this is in Sequoia Canyon. So just some teaser of what you're going to get to see when you're there. Of course, we're going to drive through the log, which is still able to do that. So we will do that. It's right next to Morrow Rock that I just showed you. This is the giant redwood grove. So we'll hike through this. I think this is only like a mile and a half walk or something. I think it's only a mile, not very far. All right, so Kings Canyon and Sequoia. What does it cost? To be on the 1st floor in the Queen is $2,500, and the 2nd floor, it also has a queen and a cot, a small cot in the room for $2,500. And then there are twin beds, which are sold separately for $1,600 each. So just so you guys know, full disclosure, I do think both rooms with the queens have sold, although I don't have my deposit yet. I have verbals, so I should know in a day or two. And I just sold a twin bed today, so I have 1 twin bed left. Again, if this is a trip that you're interested in, just let me know. I think others are going to be interested, and then I can see about getting another space if we want to do that. So any questions about Kings Canyon and Sequoia? No? Okay. So this next trip is Utah. This is Lisa and I's amazing trip that we did together last year for the first time. So I don't have much to share with you on this, and let me explain why. This is 7 action-packed days. You fly into St. George Airport. Lisa and I pick you up. We whisk you away and bring you back to our townhouse or whatever it is that we decide to rent. And then we spend 5 days exploring Zion, every trail, not every trail literally, but all the big main trails in the park we hit. We also take you out to Snow Canyon State Park in Utah because it has similar but completely different hiking experiences. We have breakfast at the house, lunch on the trail, and then we do dinner out before we come back to the cabin. That's an overview of this trip. The reason I'm not giving details is because of the staffing changes that were announced at the park. They froze some seasonal staffing and have since reinstated it. So there is absolutely a chance this trip will happen. The reason I'm hesitant is because in this particular park, I can't take care of you guys. I really rely on park services to survive in the park. We have to ride the shuttle in and out of the park every day, and we get on and off it several times. So having shuttle services required, the back of the park is 9 miles one way. So there's just no way for me to get you guys around if the shuttle service isn't working. And obviously we need restrooms and water and emergency personnel and rangers. All that stuff has to be in this particular park for us to be safe. So until I feel like things have settled down and we're secure, I'm not going to put pricing or ask for deposits yet on this. What I would ask though is if you're interested in this, please let me know. I'll put you on a list. So when it becomes clear that this is what we are doing, I know who to target. You'll get first dibs on rooms and prices. So I already think I have 4 people who are a definite, they want to go. So if this is something you want to do, just shoot me a text or send me an email so I know that you're on the list for Zion. Any questions? Yeah.
Leanne, you might want to mention just sort of the price range.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, 7 days, 6 nights. This is the most expensive trip. The prices are about 3,000, 3,500. It really depends on the lodge or the place that I rent, how many people, and what room you select. So I think we had rooms for less than that, but until those details are confirmed, I would plan on about 3,500 for this trip. Again, 7 days, 6 nights. And this is a deal. It sounds like a lot of money, but for 1 day of a guided tour in Zion is about $675 for 1 day, just a tour, not lodging, not food, not anything else. So it's
meaning if you were to book it separately.
Yeah, right. If you went online and just booked a guided tour for all day, like an 8-hour full day tour, it's a lot of money. So Lisa and I do it. I think we do a really good job, and it was really fun. So, all right, let me just, sorry, I was getting text messages, wanted to make sure it wasn't any of you guys. All right, any other questions, or I'll move on, or Lisa, anything I missed?
Nope, I think that's
Okay.
good.
Okay, all right. If you do decide to do Utah, I will say that this is the most challenging of all the trips that I offer. The hikes are not long. There aren't any hikes that are actually even 5 miles, but cumulatively walking, you're probably going to do more than 5 miles. But it's hard because it's 7 days. So it's hiking every day. We are going to break things up a little bit and give you some more rest time on this next trip. But it's, it is a lot of hiking. So if you're not a big hiker, it's not a no. It just might be, we'll take it slow, because we tailor all of our trails and our hikes to whoever's with us. So there's a way to make this doable for everybody. But again, you'll want to be able to carry a backpack, have a sense of adventure, enjoy the outdoors, and teamwork, because we'll be riding in vans and sharing a house together and eating together. And it's a lot of good time, definitely.
One thing to add
Yeah.
related to maybe physical fitness, I don't know, but it requires early mornings, because this park is one of the most highly visited in the country. And if you're not in, well, you have to be up and on the road by 6:30-ish, I would say, in order to get a spot in the parking lot.
Yeah, no, Lisa's right. And actually, Lisa, I'm glad you brought that up, because that might help explain too, because you guys might think, who cares? There's not as many temporary seasonal employees. It's so bad right now that the shuttles can't even get into the park, because it's a 2-lane road to get into Zion. So if it's backed up and we can't drive in, the shuttles can't get in. It's just kind of a nightmare. But when it's all running well, we get up early and we fly in right when the gates open. We get a parking spot and we get on the trail kind of before the crowds hit. So that's why we time it, and we do it so early. It also gives us better weather. It's definitely
beautiful rise lighting.
Yes, you get to see the sun bounce off the canyon. It's amazing. And then you get to see the sky and the canyon colors change as the day continues on. So it's just so hard to explain. It's beautiful. I mean, if you haven't been, I absolutely, you got to go with us, with somebody. You got to see it. It is absolutely amazing. But yes, Lisa, early mornings and full days, definitely. All right. Any questions about that? Okay, these are some of the trails that we do. I said we hit all the big ones. These really are the big ones. Scouts Lookout is right below Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing is a lottery system, and we don't offer that, but you'll get to see it. We're right at the base of it. Then we do Emerald Pools. There's 3 pools. And this is one of those things that I said, we can tailor it. If you're not up to going to all 3 pools, you could always stay at a lower pool. Then we do the Narrows and the Riverwalk and the Virgin River and the Watchman. And then we hit Snow Canyon State Park. We learn all about the history. There's just a lot going on in this park. It's quite amazing. All right. There we are last year. Ooh, it's really grainy, but that's our group. And that was actually day one of the trip. This is one of the first hikes we did on Scouts Lookout. And these are both pictures of emerald falls or emerald pools. There's 3 different pools. The one on the picture on the right, that's at the very top. That's the biggest pool. And the picture on the left is Carrie, and that's the first pool, actually, the lowest pool, where she's got her arms out. It's just,
she's standing under dripping water.
yeah.
So she's standing like that.
Yeah. And I think I did. Let's see. I'm not sure if I included, sorry, I'm scrolling to look for, I just wanted to point out, like Carrie obviously has got her arms bare, she's in a tank top, and she's in the water, which means she's hot. Like, this feels good. But there are mornings where it's very cold and you will absolutely need to be bundled, which is why you need to carry a pack, because you need to be able to bundle up in the morning and then strip it off and carry it with you as the day warms up. This is us. This is our group in the water. So you can see we got shorts going on and everything. And this, not a very good picture, is Snow Canyon State Park. And you can see how the terrain is very different. And we'll talk about all the history and what it is that they're standing on and stuff when we're there. But it's just a beautiful place to visit.
It's actually petrified sand.
Yep, that's right. It really is. It's so hard to describe, but it is magical place. Oh, here we go. I did put a picture in. See us, we're not even that bundled, but Vicky here, and yeah, it was early morning on one of our hikes, but it was definitely cold for a bit, and I expect it to be cold this year. That's my guess. All right, so now for my surprise. My surprise is, if we do not go to Zion, I will plan another road trip to replace it, and that will be to explore the Sierras. So I don't have an exact itinerary to share with you, but it's going to be very similar to the trip, similar and different to the trip that Lisa, similar in area geographically where we will be, but this will be a hiking trip. So we're going to go to places like, I guess I don't have a picture, the Alabama Hills. We'll do hiking, sightseeing, we'll hit some hot springs, and we'll probably hit 1 or 2 of these lakes, Mono Lake, Convict Lake, Crowley Lake, or June Lake. I haven't decided which exact place we're going to do, but it will be a hiking trip, not strenuous. So it'll be more like Sierra, Sequoia, Kings Canyon, 3-mile hikes, gentle nature, lots of sightseeing. These are the Alabama Hills, so we'll definitely take you here, which is at the base of Mount Whitney. We probably will go up to the Whitney Portal if we're able to get there just to see it. And this, no joke, is what it looks like. I mean, Lisa and I were there just a couple of weeks ago. It's
like, that's our picture, not from the
it's just crazy. It's so beautiful. I mean, I told my husband when I came home from this trip that I don't ever want to go to Mammoth again, because there's so much to see between LA and Mammoth that we never stopped to see, because we were always racing to get to Mammoth. But I'm here to tell you, there's so much to see in between there, and it's worth slowing down to see. And that's really what this trip is about. It's going to be about slowing down, stopping to read all the signs, and getting the history and knowledge of the land that we've traveled through, but we don't possibly know much about it. And this is Mono Lake, which is the furthest point. So I'm not positive that we'll get there, but it's certainly a possibility. And these are, what is it, Hot Springs Creek geological site?
Hot Creek geological.
Hot Creek, yeah. Anyway, again, nothing that looks beautiful, but when you're standing next to this water and it's bubbling and steam's coming out of it, it's just amazing. It's a really cool place to be. And that's it. Those are my trips. Anybody have any questions for me? No? Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to Lisa now, because she has her trip she's going to share.
Okay. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Sharing my screen.
They seem to be amazing trips.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
They really are. They're so much fun. I mean, the energy that you get when you're there and from each other and the support. I mean, it's just, it's hard to put into words how you leave after being on a trip like that. It changes lives. I mean, one woman came back, just remember after Zion, Lisa, and she's like, I'm going to take that class. I'm not too old. Like, I can do this. You know, I mean, it's so great. So, yeah.
Jane would not have that problem. Jane is an iron, I want to say Iron Woman, Iron Man woman.
Oh my goodness.
Iron competitor. That's a whole other story for another time. Okay, so for the benefit of the people that are in Liane's group that aren't familiar with what I do, I am an intuitive life coach and energy practitioner, but I also have a huge interest in travel adventure. So let me back up to say how this trip came about, which is because I have an interest in intuition, and I use it in tapping into the energy of my clients to help provide aligned guidance, and also to help them expand their connection with their own intuition. I had the idea to incorporate that into one of our trips. The other thing that I've encountered when working with my clients is that either they have lost contact with their intuition over the years, but have sort of that instinct to get back into it, or they're already exploring it, but they're sort of doing it in a vacuum, and they don't know other people to sort of share that journey with. So this trip is designed to, I gotta figure out how to, there we go. Well, I'll come back to this in a second, is designed to help people both connect to their intuition and to the way that their intuition is bringing guidance to them, the way they are connecting to all of that information, but also to meet other people who have that same interest, or kind of on that same path. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, my use of intuition is to refer to that thing that's beyond our conscious reasoning, our logic. It's that source of inspiration and guidance that exists for all of us, but that we can't necessarily see or touch or feel. Well, I'll say feeling, there is a sentiment, but you can't touch it with your fingers. Anyway, we often call it our gut instinct or inner wisdom. So that's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about intuition. As I said, the goal of this particular travel adventure is, I'm calling it a retreat because it is going inward, getting to know yourself. It's not a retreat in the sense of you're going to be pampered, and I'll get to that in a minute. Although the hope is for you to be comfortable and enjoy it fully, of course. Anyway, so the goal is to increase your awareness of how your intuition speaks to you, and also how to utilize it while you're out and about on your day, during your day. It's one thing to be able to establish that connection when you're by yourself, when when you have that time set aside to meditate or whatever, but you really need to have that ability to use it on a day-to-day basis, like when you're out in the middle of the day, so that you can reset, so that you can get information and guidance when you need it in the moment. And that's part of what we're hoping to accomplish with this. Liane, although she is a hiking coach, she's also a life coach, a mind-body coach. And both of us have I think I would say, a very similar approach to incorporating intuition into our daily life. So she's an excellent partner to have for this. But because I can't go to a place and not get out and explore it. I couldn't make this an all-day, let's explore intuition kind of trip. The itinerary, which I'll get to in a few minutes, is to spend the morning doing workshops and developing intuition and that kind of thing. And then we'll make lunch and then get in the car and go explore the surrounding area at an activity level that I would say is maybe somewhere between the nature immersion and the active hiking level. Because there is definitely, it will definitely be outdoors. It will definitely be getting in and out of the car to pop out and look at sites, with some hiking, walking, very short distance hiking, otherwise nature walking. So we'll get into that in a minute. And then, as I mentioned, the other goal is to connect people up so that the participants have a community, to develop a community with other people that are on the same journey and interested in the same topic. Okay, our home base is a town called Benton Hot Springs, and this is located along the eastern side of the Sierra Nevada, so the same general area that Liane was just talking about. Because I know there's a few people that are here and are going to see the recording that are not based in California. I'm sure you've heard of the Sierra Nevadas, you're familiar with that. So with that as your frame of reference, this is about halfway up on the east side. And when you're down from the Sierra Nevadas, there's a high desert plateau that rests in between the Sierras and another mountain range, the White Mountains. So that's where this is. It's at 5,600 feet, and it's about 40 minutes from the nearest big town called Bishop. And if you're familiar with Mammoth as a ski area, it's about 40 minutes from there as well. Because of where it's located, it's wonderful for big open skies and starry nights, and it's quiet because there's really not much in this town. It's historic and has very little left to it beyond the inn that we'll be staying in. But that also means that it's a bit of a jaunt to get to any of our sites that we're seeing. So there is time in the car each day as we do our excursions. The real draw for this place is it's a hot springs destination. It has been for the past 100 years. At one point in the 30s and 40s, it was like a Hollywood destination for the hot springs. Before that, well, originally it was Paiute land, and so this was sort of a sacred site because of the hot springs. But the place where we're staying is fully designed around the access to the hot springs. And when we come back to talking about the inn specifically, I'll get more into that. These are some of the sites that are in the area that I'm hoping to get us to. Because of the elevation and the crazy weather and just the time of year being in May, we can't be totally sure that there won't be a freak snowstorm that will make us change our itinerary, or that the roads will be open and we'll get to see the things we really have planned on doing. But this is one of so there's hot springs in tubs at the inn in Benton, but in the area there's hot springs all over the place, and there's been some development of them. You can see there's a boardwalk here, so this is one of the bigger hot springs holes that you can get to. So it's unfinished, but there is a boardwalk to assist in the access. When we were there earlier this month, we didn't actually go to visit it because the road was too muddy. There had been heavy rain, and so we couldn't get to it then, but I'm very hopeful to get to it when we're there in May. The site on the right is that Hot Creek geological site that Liane had a picture of. The sign makes me laugh because at the one time it's like danger, 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 but it's right along. You may be able to make out it's actually a paved pathway from the parking area down. So you walk right by it on your way down to the water, where you absolutely have to stay out because, as Liane said, there's little bubbles. You can tell how steamy it is. And there is other signage down there about the danger of it, but it's just very cool. You see the steam coming out of the ground and the bubbles and everything, but we still saw what was it, a white heron, I think, kind of partaking of of the area. And anyway, It was just very cool and different. This is Mono Lake. I think Liane and I happened to pick up very similar pictures. This one on the left, I got from the internet. This one on the right, I took when I was there over the summer. There's no shortage of beautiful, amazing photographs of Mono Lake. It's a bird. I don't know what I want to call it a bird sanctuary. There's bird watching all year long. And because of where it's located, it's just a migratory stopover. It's a very interesting place. This is one of the ones where there's about a mile long nature path. So it is on uneven surfaces, but it's flat and it's easily accessible. I should mention back on the geological hot springs site or Hot Creek, it's a paved path down from the parking lot. So it's easy pathway, but on the way back you have to walk up. So that's, but we take our time. Like Liane said, it's not far, but it's an uphill climb. So anyway, on the way to Mono Lake, between Benton and Mono Lake is a scenic highway that has all kinds of views that we kept stopping and jumping out and looking at. Liane didn't actually get to see this part because it was closed for the winter. This is from last summer when I was there, but there's all kinds of rock formations, and then you get to this big open space area that's like Montana or Wyoming. Just again, big skies and just endless views, all surrounded by mountains on the outskirts. It's really pretty. And you go through an area even with the trees because it's at a higher elevation. There's an area with, Mammoth is a volcanic area, so there's areas of volcanic cones and historic sites to stop in and take a quick look at and that kind of thing. So it's really a fun ride and a lot to see on that highway. Because of the variable weather, I'm not sure what all we're going to incorporate into this trip, but potentially we might include, these are wild horses that actually are all along, that tend to hang out along that scenic Highway 120. This is one of the lakes that Liane mentioned, Convict Lake. We were there in the winter and it got, you can hike around. It's about 3 miles of fairly flat pathway. So that's a possibility, but we didn't do it. We didn't finish it. We did just a small section of it because we hit an icy patch and we didn't have the right, ice shoes for that to complete it. So anyway, that's a possibility. But even if you don't want to hike, if you just want to hang out, it's a beautiful site. And there's also a little, I don't know, restaurant store with a nice grassy area to hang out on, if you'd rather just kind of sit and have a beverage. So that's a possibility. This here is, whoops, didn't want to do that. How do I go back? Nope. There we go. On the right, this is ancient bristlecone pine forest. It's at 11,000 feet. These trees are, I don't even know how old they are. Maybe you know, Liane. I want to say they're like the oldest trees on earth, I want to say. And we really, really, really want to go there, but this is only open for a few months, between May and October, maybe November. When the road is open is totally up to the weather pattern. And so there's no way to know if it would be open early May. They say that they typically open middle May. So not expecting this to be open, but if we don't get there in May, then this would be like one of the top of, I would say one of the top destinations for the surprise trip in October if Zion doesn't happen. And otherwise this will come in another year, I'm sure. It's just very interesting, that place. Okay, so this trip is 5 days, 4 nights, and it starts from our area, which is Thousand Oaks, and includes includes sites on the way up as well as on the way down. So this site on the left here is called Fossil Falls. It's a few hours into the ride from here at Thousand Oaks. It's an amazing spot that you would never know from the highway, but you pull off and you get to the parking lot and it still doesn't look like much, but then you take this very short little trail through some volcanic, it's like a volcanic rock field, and then you come to this area that was an ancient riverbed, and all the rocks are super smooth from the water rolling over them every, for years. It's just, we couldn't stop saying wow while we were there. So it's a quick view and maybe a picnic spot. So that's something that's included on the way up. And then probably on the way down, this is the Alabama Hills again, the same that Liane mentioned. And that's Liane right there, and my daughter Violet. This is another amazing area of rock formations that's been used in a lot of Westerns over the years. There's not a ton of hiking from what I can tell, well, at least very accessible. So what we would do is it's a half-mile trail that is fairly easy, except for the part going from the parking lot. You have to kind of just go down a short but steep little slope. There were steps on at least half of it. I'm not sure, I can't remember if there were steps coming the way on, one entrance. It's a circle. Anyway, but the rock formations were so cool and very, very worthwhile to stop and see. Okay, so coming back around to the inn at Benton Hot Springs. So we did rent out the entire inn for this. It's not huge. So I think we can accommodate a maximum of 9 people. So it's really not a big inn, but there are 3 natural hot spring tubs for us to use as part of the inn. And this is actually the front of it. So you can see it's single story. It's just sort of a big U of rooms. It is historic, which means it was built in the 40s and redone in the 90s. So it's modern and the beds are comfortable and that kind of thing. However, the bathroom setup is historically quirky. It's like every 2 rooms shares a kind of a Jack and Jill style bathroom, and the bathrooms have they're simple: pedestal sink, the toilet, and then a tub with a shower hose. I think 2 of the bathrooms may have had the hose like actually mounted, but otherwise it's just a handheld, and you sit in there and bathe the more old-fashioned way. Liane had that perspective when we were there. So you have to bring your flexibility on this trip. The rooms are all very cute. They're all individually decorated. So this is just one of them here. 3 of the rooms have 2 beds in them. And whoever books first will get first choice of their room. But after we determine if we need any of the double beds, if there's somebody bringing with a friend, then we need to reserve those rooms for those people. But so we'll work that out as we get closer to the dates. All the water on the property is sourced from the hot springs, which is, in my mind, first, really cool, but also second, it means that the water that comes out of the tap is really hot. They have a large, whatever you call it, water tank, where they pump the hot water in, it cools, and that provides the cold water. And so you do have cold water, or at least cool water, in your room. But the water that comes in for the hot tubs comes out at a single temperature, and the way that it's cooled is by turning off the tap, so you're not continually adding in this extra hot water. The evaporation cools the water, and so it's not the perfect temperature every time you want to get into it. You have to sort of work with it that way, and again, bring your flexibility. But it is really amazing. There's something very special about this place. One thing that we thought was really cool is that it also provides the heating for the whole inn. It's whatever they call it, subterranean heating, and when they need the rooms warmer, they turn on the water tap to flow under the tiles in the rooms, and when they don't need it, they turn it off. So the rooms will have heating if needed, but otherwise they also have air conditioning. The rooms include robes and slippers for you to get to the hot tubs should you choose to use those. And then, you know, the modern amenities, there's TV, mini fridge, and Wi-Fi. They are comfortable rooms. Okay, so here's our sort of the itinerary. We drive from our local area to Benton with 3 to 4 stops along the way, and it will either be ride with us for an additional fee or caravan in your own vehicle. You'll bring your own sack lunch for a picnic on the way, and then we'll stop in Bishop, which is that nearest town, to pick up dinner, and then also stop at Vaughn's for whatever food you'd like to have with you in your room. We'll get to the inn, we'll soak in the hot tub, and
So,
probably
excuse me, I have to go. The dates of this May trip are when, from when to when?
May 5th through 9th. So Cinco de Mayo is a Monday. So Monday to Friday, Cinco de Mayo to the 9th.
Super.
Okay, okay, thanks for
I'm
joining,
interested in
Jane.
it, but I'll let you go. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Jane. The Tuesday through Thursday itinerary will be mornings. First of all, you can either sleep in or you can get up and join us for a soak in the tub. I totally recommend that. That was, to me, the best time of day to sit in the tubs. Beautiful views and just a really nice experience. The breakfast is provided by the inn, and they bring it to your room. So you eat in your own space. After that, we'll have a designated time to start the intuition workshops. Those will run until lunch. And then we'll gather to make sack lunches for the day. We're providing basic provisions. And then we'll get in the car and head out for our afternoon excursions. On the way back from our excursions, we'll pass through Bishop for dinner again, and then back to the inn and an evening soak and another, you know, optional activity to wind down the evening. And then the last day is sort of a reverse of the first day, where you get to, again, soak in the tub to start your day if you choose. You'll have breakfast, then we'll get in the car to start our drive home. But on the way in Bishop, there's a famous bakery, Schatz Bakery, and they make good sandwiches for picnicking. So we'll pick those up and then get on our way and stop at sites on the way home to the LA area by dinner. So to recap the food, breakfast on your own before we leave on the first day, and then days 2 through 4. I should actually say 2 through 5. Every day that we're at the inn, it's included. Lunch, again, the first day you bring your own, and then days 2 through 4, we're providing basic lunch fixings. But we'll have them out for you to assemble. You will be able to supplement whatever we provide with the pickup at Vaughn's is our local the local grocery store. So whatever additional things you'd like for lunch, or your special drinks, whatever, you can pick up there in the evening after dinner. And then, as I mentioned, on day 5, we're picking up. Picking up the sandwiches from the bakery for the picnic on the way home. Dinner. Each night will be in Bishop. As I mentioned, Benton has like no services, or maybe, I don't know if I said that or not, but there are no services. It's an historic town. All that is there besides the inn is a few camp spots that are part of the inn, and a few houses that are also part of the inn's property. A couple historic buildings that are not open for providing services. They are actually the space that we would use for group meetings if it's not nice enough to sit outside. So that's it. Everything that we bring in from Bishop. And the dinners we have no kitchen at our disposal, so we'll be heading out for dinner each night in Bishop. We found a couple of really good restaurants, well, more than a couple, I would say, but we went to 2 that had great experiences. One of them, we were lucky, we were there on a night when a local Appalachian music band does their jam session, and they just hung out and played really great music, and it was a lot of fun to get to be there with them. And then again, for day 5 dinner, you're back at home. Okay, so this is the cost for this. It's $15.97 total, spread into 3 payments. The ride to and from home with us is an additional $150, or you can drive yourself and caravan with us, so you'll still get the stops on the way. I mentioned the room selection and the bathrooms. That was the other historically quirky thing about the bathrooms. There is very low lighting. When we talked to the caretaker about it, he said, well, it's good you don't see the wrinkles on your face. So we said, okay. So I think we will be advising our participants to bring a lantern or just put up with the low lighting. Okay, the inn can accommodate dietary restrictions with advance notice. So if that's the case for you, we would definitely need to know that in advance. Same for us gathering lunch supplies anyway. And as I mentioned, Benton is remote, so there's no local services. And there will be some time spent in the car because all the sites that we're seeing are within an 1.5-hour radius, but that doesn't mean we're going to be sitting in the car for an 1.5 hours. It's if we go anywhere that is that far out, there's stops on the way that we plan. There's plenty of interesting outdoor sites to see on the way. So and this is blocked on my screen because I'm sharing, but the last line, your good energy and your flexibility are totally appreciated. I have a friend who goes on a lot of small group trips, and she was telling me about one company she's traveling with coming up where it's called You Can't Take My Happiness, and their whole slogan is no whiners. So I thought, okay, I'm adopting that. If you come along on the trip, then you know, you have to be able to go with the flow, and actually that works in our favor, because part of learning to live with your intuition and be guided by your intuition is to use it when things are not going great for you. When you know, when everything is wonderful, it's easy to kind of just sail through with your normal MO. But when you gotta like you know, deal with other people you don't know, or with facilities that are maybe not what you're comfortable with or what you're used to, that's when you got to call on those extra abilities and make the best of everything. So that is the end of our presentation today. This is another, by the way, rock that's in the Alabama hills. So are there any questions?
Well, Lisa, can I just be a cheerleader for you for a second here?
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know Lisa, like my group, she's great. And this trip was great. And it was an honor to scout it with you, Lisa, because you were so knowledgeable about the areas. You've done so much in the areas. I learned a lot. I don't know how anybody could not enjoy themselves on this trip. And just adding the workshops is just a bonus, because being here is already so beautiful. So I think you've put together a really nice package that I think anyone could walk into and enjoy. So I wish you the best, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, I mean it.
There's definitely something special about this area, I have to say. Violet, my daughter, the middle one there, has been there several times over the past few years. And the very first time she came home, she said, "Oh, you and Liane have to check this place out. It's so great." And I finally went with her last summer and was captivated by it. And now Liane went with us earlier this month and had the same reaction. So there is something magic about this place, and I feel like the pictures are not doing it justice, but anyway.
No, they don't, but you
Yeah,
get energy from it by attending.
that's true. That's true. There's really good energy, and both of us are just so excited. I mean, as it says, we're so excited for you to join us, but we're just very excited about travel and sharing the places that we love with other people. And I would say that although there's definitely, it's great to see the places that everybody enjoys. We also, or again, everybody knows about. We really enjoy finding the off the beaten path places to add into the mix. So it's something unique and special when we organize a trip.
Absolutely. So please reach out to us, text, email, let us know what you might be interested in so we can answer your questions and get you all set up.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And I think we'll be wrapping up here.
All right, no last minute questions? No? Okay. All right, you
Okay.
guys. Bye.
Bye.